YouTube, we did it. Plat 1 with Drytrons, we made it. So what I'm going to do is for everybody who is watching this, I want to first tell you it's free to play. And second, we're going to completely free to play. No money spent on this deck at all. Also, I wanted to say that I'm going to go over a complete tutorial on how to play this deck. And the combos going through it. Also, what did I want to say? Oh, yeah. I'm going to go over what each individual card does, and I'm going to show you some replays. Alright, so first the hand traps. 2 draw and lock, 3 maxi, 2 ash. If I were to come back to it, I'd probably run 3 ash. And the reason why is ash counters maxi. So, but the maxis were very valuable, but I would still probably go 3 ash. I might cut the draws for like Nibiru's because Nibiru seemed really useful in a lot of the situations that I was in. I was running draw mainly for the mirror because it shuts down the mirror if you draw this and then they go first. Another card that was talked about was Droplets, and Droplets is another good card. However, I feel like I'd rather prevent their setup than let them get everything in the graveyard, even if I were to Droplets them afterwards and negate their Herald. So, that's pretty much what I felt there. That's why I chose draw. The other deck I played was Called by the Grave, and Called by the Grave, this card you really want to play in this deck, both at 2. So Called by the Grave is really good to negate Maxi, and the fact it can negate any hand trap being Maxi, Veiler, Ash, all those are great to negate. Eva. So Eva, well, we'll get over that in a second. I don't want to go over that now. So the first are the Drytron main core, which is Alpha, Gamma, and Zeta. So Alpha, all 3 of these can special summon themselves from the graveyard. So that's the first thing you need to know. By attributing a Drytron or any ritual monster, they can be summoned from the hand or the graveyard. So that's actually very important. That's on all 3 of your Drytrons here. It does not matter. It's not on any of the Drytrons, but these are the 3 you're playing. So what Alpha does is, specifically, when special summoned by its own effect, you can add a ritual from your deck to your hand. So if you special summon it from the hand to the grave by attributing a Drytron or a ritual, you will get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So the card you will be searching is Cyber Angel Bedtime. We'll go over what she does in a second. If you are in Duel Links or in the TCG, you're probably already familiar with this card. More in the TCG. In Duel Links, unless you've seen Megalith, you probably played in full powered Cyber Angel meta, but unless you've done either or, then you've probably never seen this use. But we'll go over it soon. As soon as I get over the rest of the support. So Zeta. Zeta allows us to add a ritual spell. Now the card you were searching is Meteonis Drytron. Now keep in mind, you can add any ritual spell. But in this case, you are searching Drytron. This card is fantastic. We'll go over it in a second. And Gamma is just the Monster Reborn and Extender. This card's very important. We'll get into the combo extension of it. But that's what you need to know there. Alright? So you could special summon them by attributing themselves or ritual monsters. But then you get each respectable effect. The Monster Reborn effect, to search a ritual spell, and to search a ritual monster off Alpha. Okay, now that we know that, we're going to go into one of the most important cards in the deck, which is Diviner. Okay, now this card, you need 3 of it. I'm not going to shake it, you need 3. However, you can convert for it. So don't feel pressured. Plus, Zeta and Gamma are both rares, so these are easy to get. Alpha's your only SR, and then you have the instant core there. Diviner is on normal or special summon. You send any fairy from your deck or extra deck to the grave. Now you're probably saying, why would you do this? Well, the card you want to send is Arclight. Okay, this from the extra deck allows you to add any ritual monster. So you summon your Diviner, then you activate your Diviner effect to dump an Arclight, and then Arclight searches any ritual monster from your deck to your hand or ritual spell. Okay, so you're searching your ultimate list generally in the combo. I'll show you when we go over it how you're going to combo out of different hands and what you can do in some bricks. You're never really searching this. There is ways you can get this in the grave. Unless you have like a surplus in your hand, you're never really searching this. There's other ways to get this in the grave. And then you will be searching your Ben 10 with your alphas. That's generally never coming up, like I said, unless you have a surplus. But this gets you the ultimateness, and you're going to do it very consistently off a 2-card combo. Now, getting into your primary searchers, you have Cyber Emergency and Drytron Nova. Now, Emergency is very, very good. Very, very powerful. You can add one light machine monster that cannot be normal summoner set. All of your Drytrons here cannot be normal summoner set. So, I know if you're in Duel Links, you also know this card. You can search any one of your Drytrons with this. Very, very good. So it's a rota for all your Drytrons. Drytron Nova, another great play starter. Special summons a Drytron from your deck. So if you summon Alpha, Gamma, or Zeta out of the deck, it essentially searches them. However, they will not get their effects because they're not summoned by a Drytron effect. You will be able to combo it afterwards, though, because when you special summon it, you're going to make Link Karibo. But we're going to talk about that later on with this card. And this field spell, Drytron Fafnir, searches Nova, so it makes Nova more consistent. Also, the activation of activated effects of ritual spells cannot be negated. That's good against things. If you fear Solemn Warning, this card could counter it. And Judgment on your rituals. Also, once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summon while you control Drytron, you can reduce that monster's level by 1,000 of its current attack per current attack by 1. This really never comes up. You're not going to really... I mean, it can come up. You could summon Diviner and then use Diviner to make Mubeta Fafnir, but that's never really coming up for you. Now, I want to go into the Exceed monsters, and this is very important. So we discussed the majority of the main deck. It's time to discuss the Exceed monsters. Then we'll talk about what the big boys do over here. Actually, no, we'll go over these first. Alright, so the main monster you want to end on is this. And this card is absolutely incredible. I think this is the best way to play Drytrons, by the way. Not the Perfection build. I really like this because the Perfection build doesn't really leave a lot of room for hand traps. Herald of Ultimateness is very, very good. And you ritual summon this, not with Oracle of Herald. You ritual summon this with Meteona Drytron. Okay? And we're gonna go over what this does in a second. I forgot about going over this. But you summon this, and when your opponent would special summon a monster or activates a spell or trap or monster effect, you could send one fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard, negate the special summon or activation of the card, and destroy it. So, you were going to end on like 5+ negates, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And when you use this, you could send a fairy, negate. Now, I know what you're thinking, but your Drytrons are machines. We're going to talk about that. So you summon this, and then you can negate spells, trap, monster effects, or special summons. So it's a multiple Omni negate. Very good. And at the same time, the only way your opponent's really adding this is Super Poly and the Mud Dragon, or making activating droplets. Those are really the only two outs for this card. Other than that, your opponent's not really adding this card at all. So, making it very, very strong. Next is Draconoids. This is your boss monster for Drytrons. This card is pretty good. You summon this with Meteonis. Your opponent cannot target this with monster effects. So, anything that would be targeting this. Although I'll tell you, a lot of the monster effects in the game don't target, so that's something you need to know. Now, if the total level of ritual monsters used to ritual summon this are 2 or less, I'll go over how that's going to happen in a second, even though it's level 12 monster. This can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. And now for the really good effect during your opponent's turn, that is a good effect, but this is the really good effect. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you banish monsters from your graveyard whose total equals 2,000 or 4,000 up to 2. So any of your Drytron combinations, including your Exceed. Then you can destroy cards on the field equal to the card number banished. So if you banish 2, you can pop 2. If you banish 1, you can pop 1, and they have to be face up. So that could be a good way to interrupt because it could be on your opponent's turn. Now, going over Eva. This card is insane. It is your main extender and win con here. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 2 other life fairies. Add the same amount of life fairies from the different names for your deck to your hand. So there's a lot of ways you're going to get this in the graveyard via Exceeds. We're going to talk about it. So once you get your Arclight in the grave and your Diviner, you're going to be able to banish these both to add 2 more life fairies. That being your Orange Light and another copy of Diviner, and have 2 more negates because they're going to be fairies to discard off ultimateness. Very, very good. Now, the very broken UR ritual spell. This card is insane. It is one of the best cards in the deck, and it's a UR for a reason. So you search this with Zeta, and you could also search this with Diviner into combo if you really need to. But it's used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must tribute ritual machine monsters from your hand whose total or field whose total attack or exceed equal or exceed the attack of the ritual monster you attempt to ritual summon. Now, I know off the bat people say, well, what makes that so good? Well, I'm going to show you. If this card's in your graveyard, you target 1 Drytron, loses 1,000 attack, and then add it to your hand. And you can only use this effect of Drytron once per turn. So this can add itself back. So you get 2 ritual summons in 1, which is insane. But what makes this also insane is that it tributes equal to the total attack, not level. So this gets very abused with the broken Exceed that I'm going to talk about here, which is Drytron Mubeta Fafnir. Now, this is the best card in the deck. Okay, this is one of the best, but this is the best card in the deck, and I got a prismatic of it. When you it's 2 level 1s to Exceed into it. When you ritual summon, you can detach a material from this card as the required material for the ritual summon. So, when you ritual summon, you detach the Exceed material, not the monsters itself. You can detach Exceed material, which gets nuts. You can only use that effect once per turn. Now, if this card is Exceed summon, you can send a Drytron. Oh no, each of the following effects once per turn, not this effect. Each of the following effects coming, you can use once per turn. If this is Exceed summon, you can send a Drytron from your deck to your grave. Mill any one. Now, in combo, you're going to use the Exceed to dump Gamma. Also, you are going to summon Mubeta Fafnir. You can also dump the ritual spell if needed, or you can dump the Draconoids if you have extra cards, or you want to set up an OTK. You may want to dump Draconoids. Oh, also, the ritual spell can ritual summon from the graveyard. Any ritual monster, hand or graveyard. So that makes it very versatile. I forgot to bring that up, that this can summon from the graveyard. So that's why you would send that. Also, it has a third effect. This really never comes up. I know it seems good, but it never comes up. When your opponent activates a spell or trap while you control a machine ritual monster, you can detach 1 material, negate that activation if you destroy it. So if you have extra Drytrons, you really want to set up a spell trap negate, you can, with Mubeta Fafnir. Okay. Now, that is really, really crazy. I'm going to show you how to combo with that. We talked about Arclight. Let's get into Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. This is rank 6. Now, you don't only use this in Burning Abyss, you can use this in anything. So you're going to summon this the appropriate way, and it's a Foolish Burial on either player's turn. That's all you really need to know. So what you're going to use this to dump is Eva. Remember I told you how you're going to get Eva in the grave and this card's going to win you the game? So you're going to use Beatrice to dump Eva. Eva will go ahead and then banish your 2 fairies to search 2 negates. Okay? If you are in a desperate situation where you need to dump a Gamma or a Zeta and then be able to add back, you can do that as well. So you can dump like a Zeta and then keep going in combo if you need to, but most of the time you are dumping Eva. Okay? But keep in mind it can dump any of your Drytrons too. Now, going on forward. So the next card I want to talk about is Gallant Granite. This never really came up, but you can use it. It takes 2 level 4 rocks. This doesn't really come up in this build. It comes up in the Megalith build. So this is not really useful in this build, so you can take this out. But in something like a Megalith build, you would want to play this, because you can add any rock Redectorium. Now, Zeus, you can actually hard make Zeus in this deck, or you can make it with Swinging Beta Fopnir. What Zeus does, if it exceed battled, you can overlay this by using 1 exceed monster you control, and then quick effect, you can detach 2 cards as an exceed materials, and then banish all cards on the field. Also, if this is destroyed, if another card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can attach 1 card from your hand deck or extra deck on this card as material, which is nuts because if another card would get destroyed, you could attach an Arc Light onto this, and then if this dies, then you can use Arc Light to get another free search, which is incredible. Link Karibo, this is very important in the combo. Just simple Link 1 that you contribute and stop the damage off for 1 attack, which could be relevant if you don't open up as well and then you want hand traps. So you want to summon this only when you go into Nova. That's going to give you your most advantage. So you're going to Nova into your Alpha, generally, and then Link Karibo. Or if you open the Alpha, then you go into Zeta, and then you do it. Next is IP. IP during your opponent's main phase. This allows you to Link Summon as a Link 2. You can use this. I didn't pull Nightmare Unicorn, so I didn't use it. Also, a Link monster uses this card as material. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. So very good. Generally, I IP'd with Union Carrier into Appaloosa. We'll talk about that. You could also go into Access Code, and then they can't destroy it as well. So that can be very powerful. Next is Union Carrier. This card is the best Link in the deck, other than Appaloosa and Access Code. This card does is you can equip any monster to this card, or any of your monsters from the deck. I didn't do Buster Lock, but what this does is it allows you to equip Eva and extend and get 2 more searches beyond the 2 initial searches you get with Eva to begin with. So you can equip this, get Eva, set up IP in full combo, and then be able to win the duel from there and get 2 more searches. However, this could also, what makes this also really good is Union Carrier is broken when you brick. When you brick, this card gives you insane value. Insane value. Because I could use Eva or Arc Light if my hand's not that good, or even a Diviner, to Link Summon into this and get the other Drytron out of the deck. Now, what's also very important is this tributes machines. Union carries a machine, and it gains the attack of the monster. It gains 1,000 attack. Now, because of that, you can be at exactly 2,000 attack, and then use Union Carrier to tribute itself to go into your ultimateness. And then you can use your Drytron effects that you can equip off Union Carrier. So you can even equip a Drytron to this, and then Ritual Summon, and then free it up, and then start using, essentially searching your Drytrons that way. So it gives you another way to potentially get into combo, which is insane. Now, the next one is Herald of Mirage Lights. This doesn't come up as much, but this could be nice to combo off into with your access code. Again, like I said, this only came up in the Maglos build because I needed a negate of a spell trap. You can make this if you feel like your opponent is going constantly into hand traps and you want to get back some of your resources to add back Ultimateness or Benton, but this I'd probably take out because it just didn't come up anymore. It essentially got replaced by IP. Boral Sword Dragon is absolutely incredible. So, once per turn you target an attack position monster and change the defense, and it can make a second attack during the battle phase if you do that. And it can be your own monsters. Also, if it declares an attack on a face-up monster, it can gain attack equal to half the monster's current attack. And if it does, the battling monster's current attack is halved. So, I use this to OTK my opponent through max C as a link 4. Alphaloosa is also really good. This is also good as a finisher after you negate your opponent as well. So that could be good as a finisher. Alphaloosa is another great card you're going to end on. You can end on this when you go into Carrier plus your IP. Or you could just make this if you want 4 extra monster negates and you don't want to go into Carrier combo. So this gains 800 attack equal to the number of link materials used for the summon. So if you use 4, it goes up to 32. And then once per chain, you can negate an opponent's monster effect. Absolutely insane. Access Code Talker, another incredible link. Your opponent can activate effects or cards in response to the activation. You can target 1 link monster that was used for the summon, and it gains 1,000 attack equal to times its rating. So it's at 23. So if you use this with IP, it's at 43. Very good. You can banish a link from your hand or grave in Dark Arm Dragon effect. Destroy 1 card in the field. Also, for the rest of the turn, you can have banished monsters with the same attribute to activate Access Code Talker. So you can banish and then start popping things off the field if you need to clear any additional cards. Okay? So that's pretty much the deck profile. We're going to go over some combos, and I'm going to show you how this deck works. And then I'll show you some replays. So we're going to go first here. And we're going to go until we have combo. Which we do now. Now this is God Hand here. So pay attention to what I am going to do. Let me see if I can bump the volume a little bit. Alright. So this is full combo. So the first thing you want to do, now if you have Nova and Fafnir in the hand at the same time, activate Fafnir because you can bait and negate. So I'm going to activate Fafnir. Fafnir activates, we'll search Drytron Nova. Now we go Cyber Emergency. And this will search us Zeta. You want to summon Alpha off Nova. Again, if you don't open up Fafnir and you just have Nova and Emergency, then what you want to do is, I like to go Cyber Emergency first because that will bait out the Ash Negate, and then you can Nova into Link Karibo shenanigans, and you may be able to get to some form of combo anyway. Especially having Diviner in hand, you have a ton of ways to bait out Ash with this hand. Okay, so next we're going to go Nova. So Nova will be able to summon out Alpha. So this is the first thing you want to do. Doesn't matter the position here. Now again, if you're going second and you notice hand traps that they max you, go in attack mode to get damage. But going first, it does not matter. We're going to link that Alpha off into our Link Karibo. Next thing we're going to do is after we link off into Link Karibo, the only time you want to go into Link Karibo again is only when you open up Drytron Nova. That's the only time you want to go into Link Karibo. So if you don't open up Nova, don't do it. Next, we're going to activate Alpha, and Alpha is going to tribute Zeta. Now pretend we didn't open up Benton. I don't want you to see that we opened it. Pretend we didn't open it. So after you summon Alpha, it's very important you summon Alpha first. Because Alpha is going to get you Benten. If you already have Benten in your hand, it really doesn't matter what you summon first. But it's ideal. You always want to summon Alpha first. So that's why we link off, and then we attempt to summon Alpha. Next, we're going to tribute Benten to summon Zeta. After that, Zeta activates, gets us Meteonis Drytron, our ritual spell. And then we're going to trigger Benten, which searches Diviner. Now, we already have Diviner in hand, so we can just search something else. Unless you're really afraid of Veiler. If you're afraid of Veiler, it's best to pick up a Diviner. Other than that, you have the option to search a second Eva as well. So you could search a second Eva instead of going into Union Carrier, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just take a Diviner here. Afterwards, we're going to summon out Diviner. Diviner activates. We'll dump Arclight to get us a ritual, monster, or spell. In this case, we're going to get Ultimateness. Now, at this board state, the next thing you want to do is also Diviner. What I didn't tell you about is it copies the level. It adds the level of the monster sent to this. So since we're sending Arclight, it turns Diviner into a 6, which is really convenient when you're trying to set up a Beatrice. Next, we're going to Exceed Summon using the Alpha and the Zeta to make Mubeta Fafnir. Now, when Fafnir is summoned, you're going to dump here Gamma. Since we don't have Gamma in hand, we can't dump the Draconoids, but we're going to be able to dump Gamma. Next thing you want to do is you want to activate Meteonis Drytron, and you're going to tribute your Ultimateness to summon out Benten from the graveyard. Oh, not Ultimateness, excuse me. Sorry. You tribute your Drytron ritual material. Not the whole monster, just the material. Forgot, we're only tributing Drytrons. So we want to tribute the Drytron, not Ultimateness. So we tribute one of its materials. Remember, I told you before, you can tribute the materials under it for Fafnir. And it tributes per... The way Meteonis Drytron works is it tributes based on attack. So, since your materials have 2,000 attack, you can ritual summon Benten because it has less than 2,000 attack. If you tributed 2, it would have 4,000 attack, so you could summon something 4,000 attack or less. If you tribute 1, then they each have 2,000 attack, so it's 2,000 or less. You get the idea. Next, we're going to summon Benten because it is 1,800. We only have to tribute 1. 1,800 is less than 2,000. So we're going to summon Benten. Then, we are not going to activate the field spell here. We are going to Exceed into Beatrice. So once Beatrice is on the field, quick effect, we're going to be able to dump Eva here. And we want to keep Benten safe, so we're going to dump Eva. Once Eva's in our graveyard, we can activate the effect, which will just banish 1 and 2. You do not target Beatrice. We want to keep her on the field. And then we can go ahead and search 2 different Life Fairies. So our Diviner and our Arclight. So now we have 2 negates here. Also earlier, given that we had the extra Diviner, again, remember I say search to play around Ash? Yeah, that's the good play if you suspect an Ash at that point and you're waiting on it. However, or Veiler, however, in a case where they don't, then you don't want to search Diviner. So if they don't have Veiler, then don't search the Diviner off the extra Benten. So like, what I'm saying is, everything in the combo that we did is correct, but if we had an extra copy of Diviner in hand, so if we had an extra copy of Diviner, you know, and we didn't open up Diviner, then you would search probably another copy of Benten there, rather than going for the second copy of Diviner. And the reason why is it gives you more targets off the second Eva. That's why. Next thing you're going to do is we're going to activate our Gamma. and we're going to tribute ultimateness. Now the reason why I'm going to do this is because we can ritual summon from the graveyard. And it does not matter the position here. Next, we activate the effect of Meteor's Drytron. All this off for 2 cards, by the way. We're going to reduce the attack here. These are going to be used for Link Summon, so it doesn't really matter whether the attack reduction or not. Now, we're going to use Fafnir's effect again. This is why I say it's the most powerful card in the deck. Because we just used its effect and ritual summon twice, essentially, for free. And we're going to summon Ultimateness because it has 2,000 attack, 2,000 equals 2,000, and we bring out the boy. Next, we're going to Link Summon into IP. Actually, we'll go Union Carrier first. Go Union Carrier first. So we're going to link off Mubeta Fafnir since they have the 2 same attributes. We can link them into Union Carrier. So we're going to activate Union Carrier, and we are going to attach to it another copy of Eva. Now, because we searched the 3rd Diviner, we're not going to have Eva search here. But assuming we didn't, this is what you would want to do, because it would allow you to get another search on top of the 4 negates you already have established. Then, on top of that, you're going to go into IP by using Beatrice in Alpha. Now, what this does is it'll allow you to go Appaloosa on the opponent's turn. You can also go into an Access Code Talker that won't be able to be destroyed by card effects and have 4,300 attack. And then be able to pop on your following turn with 4 negates in hand, which is absolutely incredible. So you have the option to go into either or. You can also make Boral Sword Dragon, but most of the time you're not going to do that on the opponent's turn. So it's either going to come down to this. If you notice your opponent's going to just set a bunch of cards, you have the option. I would go Access Code at that point if they're more on a back row strategy. If they're on a heavy monster effect strategy, then yeah, then you want to take advantage and go into your Appaloosa, which is going to be absolutely incredible for you. So again, that's the combo. We're going to play this through. Again, we're just in a duel against the computer. It's nothing to be too extravagant over, but I just want to show you this is the best way to show how the combo works. And you're going to do this going first against anything. So this is your main combo. Also, if you enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe to me on my YouTube, give the like. We're almost halfway to YouTube partner credentials. Also, please consider following me on Twitch if you want to see me play live. I came over from Duel Links. I used to play the TCG. Then I went over to Duel Links, but now I'm back in the TCG. So, and streaming Duel Links as well. So if you're into that, I do Duel Links as well. So if you want to see me play decks live, make sure you follow me on Twitch and possibly join tournaments at some point soon. Make sure you follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv /Arbitraya. I will have the link in the description below, so that way you can easily find me. And I'll also have a live link to the Discord, my Discord as well. So, greatly appreciate that. Alright, so now we're going to activate IP. And then we're going to go into access code here. Yes. And we will do that. So let's bring him out. Now we can trigger Eva and access code. We'll chain block the access code by going chain link 1 to access code, chain link 2 Eva. So we're going to target our IP, and it will gain 2,000 attack. And we'll chain link to the Eva. And we'll banish both Beatrice. We'll banish the Beatrice. Not both, just the Beatrice. And hit orange light. And now we have 5 negates here. And a 4,300 access code talker. Absolutely insane. Now at this point, we can activate the effect of access code. And we have 2 banishes here. Actually 3, because we can banish Linkuriboh as well. So we can banish the Union Carrier. 2 pop. Well, actually, no. We only have 2, because we used IP. Linkuriboh is also a dark, so we only have 2, not 3. And then we'll be able to pop. And then we could just go for lethal. We can bring out the Draconoids at this point. Keep Herald in defense here. So the optimal way we're going to do that is we're going to go Zeta first. We could just tribute any ritual we happen to have. Or we could search one if we didn't have access to it off Diviner. Then we'll go Meteor's Drytron. Activate the Benten. To search yet again. Then we'll go for Gamma. Because we literally have no reason to search off Alpha anymore. Tribute the last Benten in the hand. Go Gamma. Go whatever. It doesn't literally does no effect at all. Trigger the Benten again. To get way more negates than you need, but... And then we're going to exceed into maybe the Fafnir again. You want to play 2 Mubetas. You definitely want to. Next, Mubeta will jump the Draconis. And then we'll go into our Ritual spell. Now we contribute both materials to get out 4,000, 2,000 plus 2,000. And we bring out the boy. So in total here, we have an insane amount of damage on the field. Now, if we want to get really fancy here, we can go even further with comboing. I think it's better just to keep the Draconoids here, but if you really wanted to go even further, you could make a Boral Sword here, or you can go into Appaloosa, because you have more than enough damage on the field at this point. 43 plus 28 plus 200 plus that is game, but if you wanted to go into an Appaloosa, you could. There's no need. Just swing here. And that's game over. So that's an absolutely insane field. So that's an example of the best combo in the deck. I'm going to go over some replays. Now, I think I have a replay saved. Just give me a second, because I want to give you a replay here of some of the good stuff. I might have to clear out a few of the replays, so just give me like 1 second. Deleting some replays here. Okay, so let me get back in here. Because the Platinum are going to be the best replays, right? Because they're the most competitive duels. So that's what we want to do. Okay, so these are already saved. So they should be available for us to access now. Yeah. I do have a few Platinums. It's weird how I can't show these. I guess so. I guess we can look at those two specifically. Alright, so we'll go over those two replays. So here's a few replays for you. Okay. This is not a full combo hand, by the way. Okay, so he ashes here. We tried to bait him out with Fafnir. So he's going to negate. Which at that point, we're going to Eva into Linker Evo. Just to get a little bit of a defensive body with Maxi on the field. Alright, he goes Desires. He'll banish 10 to draw 2. He's playing Virtual World, so he's going to activate Lily. At this point, we chain Maxi. He sends the trap. So he sent, what's the call it? Chuchi to the graveyard. So now we have combo. He chains Maxi, but we're going for OTK here. And I'm going to show you how we do it. So we're going for it. If the only danger of this is if he had a Chuchi set, but he did not, so we had to go all in. So we activate Linkuribo from the graveyard, tributing the Alpha. So that way we can get Alpha in the graveyard off the Nova, searching the Draconis in this spot. And then we're going to get to Diviner. Normal summon the Diviner. We did not need Benten at this point, believe it or not. Well, we did, but we got it off Diviner. It didn't really matter. We were going to search this off Diviner, but in this case, it really didn't matter. Because we were going to get to it anyway. So in that rare time, it didn't matter. So we go back into the Beatrice, like I told you earlier. We're going to Eva dump and get two searches here. Then we activate Gamma, we tribute the Benten. And then Benten goes into Alpha. We search up, get the Benten. Gamma is very important here because Gamma is going to allow us to go into our extension. So we go into Moon Beta Fafnir, activate the Fafnir to dump Zeta, activate Zeta to tribute the Benten to summon itself, which allows us to extend. Like I talked to you about going for the extension. We search out the ultimate in this, activate. We're going to bring out the Draconis. Now we are going to link 2 into Mirage Lights. This could be IP. It doesn't matter. And then we go into access code. So now we banish the Mirage. Since it's link 2, it'll gain 2000 attack. And this is lethal. Through Maxi. So that's just to show you can lethal through Maxi. Here's another one. Okay, this is the hand. This is a very good hand because this shows you if we don't have Link Karibo what we do. We basically do the same combo, but we can't extend as high as we wanted to if we did. So again, like I said, we go Alpha first, tribute the Zeta, so we can search the Benten. Zeta tributing the Benten to search the Medionis. Then we go, remember, we don't have this extra copy of Diviner, so we have to search Diviner here. So we go Benten, search Diviner, and then Diviner to go into Arclight to search our Ultimateness, into the Beta Fafnir, which will allow us to dump the Gamma. Then we go Medionis, and we summon the Benten by detaching the material. Then we can go into the rank 6 Beatrice here. Activate the Gamma, tribute the Herald. summon the Gamma and the Alpha back on the field, dumping the Eva here to get our search. And then we are going to activate Meteonis, target, bounce back, and then we're going to detach. At this point, we still have access. You still do have access into Union Carrier and IP if you want, but I choose not to do this. I just like to leave Beatrice on the field, so that way I get another Eva dump most of the time. But in this case, I just go for Appaloosa anyway, because I feel like we have enough power in the hand, given that we have hand traps. But normally in that case, I just like to dump. But given that we had 2 hand traps, we can go for Appaloosa here. And just leave Eva out of it. And that's it. Nothing much he's really going to do there. The nice thing on the Appaloosa too is it helps play around a Kaiju. So if they Kaiju off your ultimateness, then you have monster negates there. And as well as hand traps. So you can play around them having a Kaiju. But yeah, that's going to be the video. If you join the Discord, I'm also going to have a tutorial written there. I'm going to try to come out with a written guide for Drytrons, which will also go over what you do with Gamma in a situation where you open Alpha Gamma, what you're going to do. I didn't want to make this video go on forever, so I chose to keep it here. But this will give you a great basis on what you do with Drytrons, and that's another OTK option there. Also, if you want to see me play Drytron and Virtual World, which we're climbing with now, we're on a second Plat 1 attempt climb, and we're climbing with Virtual World. So if you want to see me get there with Virtual World, make sure you follow me with the link in the description below. I'm going to be live streaming. I generally live stream around 5 to 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you follow me if you would like to see me do that live. Appreciate it. You watching. Don't forget to sub, like, comment. This is Tilt Matry signing out. Peace.